Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by Michael Conlan. Mick, how's it going, pal?
All good, Sam, mate. How are you?
Not bad, pal. Not bad, yeah. Happy to be talking to you ahead of your comeback fight announced for the Odyssey Arena August 6th against Miguel Marriaga. A nice tidy fight to come back to. Talk us through it. How have you been? And you must be excited about this fight.
Yeah, I'm good. I thought I could have sat around and waited and took a bit more time, but what's the point, really? I lost in a fight where I was winning. I didn't take much damage up until the end. So, there was no point of sitting around and licking my wounds. I'd rather get back into the ring and get back to business. So that's where we're at. Choice of opponent, it was a no-brainer when it was put to me. I could have had much easier fights, lesser fights, but what's the point? I want to get back into world title contention, and I think Marriaga is a great stepping stone to that place.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's definitely he must be quite highly ranked, but he's been in there with some really, really top operators like Lomachenko, Nicholas Walters, these guys. So I mean, yeah, it seems like a very good opponent, a good sturdy test to get back to that level. You obviously mentioned the Leigh Wood fight that you didn't take an awful lot of damage. You were winning the fight. Have you watched the fight back since? Have you reflected on it? And what are your thoughts on it now, a few months removed?
To be honest, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched the full yet. I watched clips immediately after and seen parts of it after, and I was like, I need to rematch right away. But I didn't watch the full thing, and we plan to do that during this camp, to sit down and go through things. And I know the mistakes I made. I know the things I done, which to an untrained eye and to many people, they would not have understood why they were mistakes. But some things were mistakes on my behalf. So I understand them. I know how to fix them, and that's the good thing. But yeah, looking back on it, obviously I'm devastated still. It's a hard one to take, and will be until I have the rematch and I beat him, which I'd have no doubt of doing, even more so now than I did before that fight. So I enjoyed the fight. It was a good fight. I felt I was in control for 99% of it. And the last bit was just fatigue. It wasn't even that he's known as a big puncher and stuff, but I think I took better shots throughout the fight than the one that actually done me over. It was just fatigue. Yeah. So yeah, it's understanding that, being able to handle it, and trying to right them wrongs and fix them mistakes. And I believe I'm on the right track to do that. Once we kind of sit down and watch the tape more, I have an even better idea. So yeah,
like, it's interesting you kind of touched on it there. What do you kind of put it down to, how it transpired in the kind of later rounds? Because it did seem like when you were able to outbox him for large periods of the fight, but at times then at times it seemed like you were electing to trade with him and kind of stand closer. And then obviously we know what happened at the end. So what do you kind of put it down to? Was it solely fatigue, or was it game plan to stand with him at times? Or do you know what I mean? Like, talk me through what transpired actually happened.
There was a few things. There's things playing on outside, which I don't need to say, but there was things in the ring which happened. The knockdown, first off, I if it was 20 seconds earlier, it was over. But one thing you got to give him credit for, and I have continued to give him credit for, is his toughness and resilience. As he was out, and he was out for a few rounds. And that was the problem. His toughness and resilience. I got too eager and used up so much energy trying to get him out when I could have just boxed his head off. It was too easy at times where I was just electing to stand and trade because I was in there with the bigger guy and all this and whatever they were saying before, but I was still beating them up on the inside. I was still giving them serious damage. So, it was too easy. So I was using too much energy at times, and then just making silly defensive moves the odd time. Probably staying on the ropes a little bit too long, is one of them. So yeah, there's many little things which happened in that fight, which I know that I done wrong. and I can fix them. They're very easily fixed, so
Okay.
it's good.
You don't want to talk us through what they are now.
Nah, I don't need to.
Fair enough. It was obviously a scary moment at the end. You went through the ropes, kind of into your brother and your father, and I was very close to the ring, and it was very scary in the crowd. Like, there was a feeling, especially from the Irish support and all, that there was a real sense of worry for you. And of course, we didn't really know what was happening for a good, I'm going to say, in around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Talk me through what was that like when, what actually transpired when you went out of the ring? Were you out? Were you awake? What kind of
I was
went
awake.
on?
I was awake. Obviously, get knocked out, so you don't remember what happened in the immediate aftermath. But I know I was awake very quickly. And when I look back on it now, it's like, it just they made a shambles of the whole thing. The medical staff didn't know what they were doing. They were fucking around.
Really?
They were trying to put a mask on my face with my gum shield still in, and I was doing this, trying to get the fucking mask off. And then obviously the TV and the media didn't know what was going on, so there was much more hysteria around the whole thing. People were fucking, really worried, and it's nice for them to be worried, but at the same time, I'm going, I was fuck all wrong, mate. If I was in the ring, I would have get up and sat in my stool, or I would have get up and continued on fighting, whatever it was. It was just the position I was in and how I came out of the ring, which made it look worse than what it was. So,
okay.
It was all good. The Irish fans are obviously quite worried. Leeds fans were quite worried. They were spitting on me when I was leaving the arena. So,
really, Jesus Christ.
it's scumbag, absolute scumbags, mate. But yeah, that's boxing, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you just have to take it with the territory, but that does seem particularly extreme. Let's touch on the atmosphere then, just as we're talking about the fight, and kind of just from what you said there, the atmosphere was particularly hostile, wasn't it? Like the kind of Irish versus the Nottingham fans, but they did go a bit nuts when the knockout came. What did you make of the atmosphere as a whole, and do you like that kind of hostility in more of a general sense, or are you against it, or how did the whole atmosphere, how did you feel about the whole thing?
No, man, I thought it was fantastic. I thought the whole event was fantastic. The atmosphere was fantastic. I don't remember them going crazy because I got knocked out, so it's okay. They can go crazy then. But yeah, listen, it was good. I thought the Irish outdone them 100%. I know they were spitting on me and stuff and all, and probably a select few fans, and they were trying to video me shouting if LEIGH killed them and stuff. They were trying to say on the way out, which is fucking horrendous, because if something was happening wrong with you, and people are doing that there, they deserve a bullet in the head, you know what I mean? So, it is boxing. It comes with the territory, but I love the atmospheres. I love the kind of first time getting in someone's back garden. That experience of it all, I thought it was fantastic. I lived up to it, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, it was good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, despite some of the not so nice things that happened as well. But we'll move on a little bit. Like there was rumblings of a rematch, but they seem to kind of be very short lived. Talk me through that.
It's not down to me, mate. I've done everything possible to try and make that rematch happen. But situation has come up with Santa Cruz. He's looks like that fight's possibly going to happen, and it's going to purse bids and all this. But do I think he wins that? No. And I know after he was like, nah, I want to have bigger fights and all than the rematch. The rematch is the fucking biggest fight. I know that he would be willing to take less money to fight someone like a Josh Warrington or a unification type fight. He says he would take less money, and that's what was said in the immediate aftermath, which is dumb, in my opinion. But yeah, we want the rematch. I was told that the Zone and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and stuff, they had reached out to Top Rank about doing it in the winter. All being well, with they would win it and still being champion. And hopefully so. I would love that to happen again. Though I can understand why he wouldn't want the rematch.
Yeah. Do you see it? Do you see him still being champion after a possible fight with Leo Santa Cruz? It's a tough fight.
No. I'll be honest. If you look at that fight, and you go, fuck, who did that take more out of? You're not going to say it took more out of me. People will say that because you get knocked out. But in terms of damage, he took way more damage than me, to the head, to the body, to everywhere. So, I'd be worried about him fighting anybody next, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he took that much damage.
It'd be interesting to see if there are any effects, or how he comes out in his next fight, if he looks a changed man or if he looks good. Because the one thing that he will probably have, you would think, is a lot of confidence after getting the win. You know what I mean? So I suppose maybe they balance each other out in some way. But
at the same time, do you have the confidence? Because let's be honest, he knows that he was beaten up for the majority of that fight.
Yeah. It's a good point.
He get dropped heavy by someone who's not known as a puncher. No, I'm not known as a puncher. I know that, and I bounced his head off the canvas. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
So like, you're going. He can have confidence. Yes, I'm confident in my power and stuff, but at the same time, he can have that confidence all he wants, because I know it wasn't his power that done the job. It was fatigue and how I was. Because if you look at the punch that landed from someone had a different angle of it, you see, it wasn't a heavy punch. It was an arm punch. It was just in the right place. I wasn't looking at it and see the punch coming. It switched my lights off. Simple as that. It happen. It can happen to anybody in that position. The ones you don't see, the damage. So, it's not. I don't think he's necessarily, a huge puncher. How it's betrayed. Or portrayed. Sorry, not betrayed. Portrayed. So
they were close enough that you would have got away with
it. I said it, but it sounded different when it came out of my mouth. So I knew what I was saying. It sounded different.
I knew what you were saying. Don't worry.
So yeah, I think the confidence will be a false confidence. And that's the thing. You've seen how they were after the fight. It was like they won the lottery. Him and his team. It was like they won the lottery, and that's what it was. It was like it was a once in a million shot. Like, so, it is what it is. He can dine out not one for the rest of his life. Being fight of the year and all out there. Well, potential fight of the year. In my opinion, probably fight of the year.
Does that mean a lot to you?
And how he finished? No, it means fuck all to me because I lost.
Yeah. So the fact that you're in an entertaining fight, it's.
Mate, I'd rather be a boring fight and people saying I'd rather not watch them than me. Than me being in that type of fight. No, I'd rather me just go and win and be in a boring fight. Out there. But listen, I know my ability and I know what I'm capable of, and I show glimpses of it in that fight. I showed a lot in that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Where people will go, wow, take a bit of notice now. Whereas people before would have said, he's boring and all there. Happy days, keep saying that, please. And I prefer you to say it. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's kind of your comeback fight now against Marriaga, as we said. Let's talk a little bit about that fight. It's a good fight, and I think maybe some people don't realize how good an operator Marriaga is. He's been at the highest level for quite a number of years. He's been against the best in the sport. He never secured a world title himself, but he's fought for a few. He's fought, I think, 3 times for a world title. So talk to me about this fight. How did it come about? Was it just a random, he could fight Marriaga and you said, yeah, that's a good fight? Or how did it come about? And talk to me about how you go about fighting someone like Miguel Marriaga.
Listen, it was put to me. There was a few opponents put to me, and that one was mainly suggested, and I said, yep, no problems. Yep, they order them. And when Marriaga was selected, I was like, happy days, it's sound. I'll fight him. And I've seen some people talking shit about it and I'm going, really? I could really come back. I could come back and fight a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. I could come back and fight a nobody and I'd probably still sell out the arena. So, it's not about that. It's like I'm going in there with someone who's a known puncher, 30 wins, 26 of them knockouts.
Yeah.
I could have easily went. Who's this trying to ring me? I'll bring him back 1 second. I could have easily went in with someone lesser, if I'm honest. But I'm getting in there with someone who's been there at the top level and tested all the boys. He is like that kind of bridge, isn't he, between that level? You know,
Yeah.
he's someone you have to kind of beat if you want to kind of move on. And I was there live for his fight against Oscar Valdez as I was training the LA at the time, and I remember how tough a fight he gave Oscar. He gave him fucking hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fight of the year one as well. That was nominated.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, I know how tough he is. I know what he's capable of. You know, a big puncher, and people could forgive me for going with someone like that after being knocked out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight. I think, you know, I go in there and I box his ears off.
Is it the perfect kind of matchup for a homecoming as well? Like, I suppose, okay, before the Nottingham fight against Wood, you were in the Falls Park against TJ, which is a kind of an all-Irish fight and a kind of a homecoming as well. But to come back to Belfast and to fill the SSE Odyssey Arena, do you need to have that kind of an opponent that can bring a good fight, that it's not just going to be kind of one-way traffic, that it's a bit of a name and it has the ability to turn into a good fight? Is that a necessity for a fight like this?
I hope put them all asleep. Hope I just want to go in there and box his ears off. Yeah, but listen, he's dangerous, and obviously after my last fight, a lot of people want to go and watch, you know, what I'm going to do and see how I'm going to come back, and they were really interested and really enjoyed the last fight and the performance I could put on. So I think it's the correct opponent, because I'll be able to show off a lot of what I can do still. You know, I'll be there in the pocket. I'll be there fighting, boxing, everything you want to do, everything you'll see. Only even better than last time. You know, I think, you know, yes, I lost on paper, but I've learned an awful lot. I've learned an awful lot from that, and I think from that I'll become an even better fighter. So it's good. I think it's the right opponent. He's known enough. You know, he's been in there with the top guys, as you said. Lomachenko is the only person to stop him as well. So,
yeah,
you know, if I got the stoppage, it would be a big statement. So,
definitely.
You know, that's an aim. That would be something I might try for. But who knows?
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to it anyway. And I think, like you said, if people are complaining about this fight, then I hope people get educated a little bit, because this is a very good fight. And a very good opponent to come back to, for sure. Like you said, he poses danger, and and he's a good name in the division. So it's a good fight, and we look forward to it. But let's move on slightly, Mick. Like, I know you're not going to want to talk too much about what's next after this fight. You know, August 6th is the primary concern. You need to get past Marriaga first. But is there like a route that you're targeting? Is there kind of a name in mind or a title in mind? And also, is a win here on August 6th, is this the only step before your next world title fight? Are you looking to go straight back into a world title? So tell me about the route that you're looking to go down.
The route I'm looking to go down is LEIGH.
Okay.
Simple as that. It's
Rematch.
LEIGH, and his team has spoke about it. In terms of matchroom, they have reached out to Top Rank, so that's the route you want to go, and that's it. That's the only route I'm targeting at the minute. Though I go down any world hit route which comes up. I don't really care. After that fight, I'm willing to fight anybody, anyone. So
on the world champions, because obviously at featherweight there's quite a few world champions at the moment, right? Santa Cruz is still holding the super title in the WBA. Leigh Wood is, you would have to say, the real world champion in the WBA, because he's the active champion, beating real fighters. You've got Mark Magsayo and Emmanuel Navarrete as well. Yeah. Who do you kind of, how do you rank those fighters first?
And Josh Warrington.
Sorry, IBF. Warrington. I knew I missed one.
I'll rank it Navarrete 1. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between the other three. I don't know. I think Navarrete is better than the other three. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know who comes after that there.
Yeah.
Though, I'd be honest, I'd love to fight Magsayo. I would love to fight him.
Yeah. Any particular reason?
I've seen enough of him. I know what he's like, and I know I could beat him. So I would love to face him.
Is that green and gold belt something that is quite attractive to you as well?
100%.
Everyone always wants that WBC belt, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, we'd love that one as well. And that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's like, because there are so many options and you're with Top Rank, who seem to be able to do business with a lot of different promoters and stuff, that there will be options for you after pending a good win on August 6th. So I suppose you're never limited to just one route. But super bantamweight, is it still interesting to you? Is it still
gone? When I fought what's his name, Beluda. When I fought Beluda, I collapsed making that weight. Like, I fainted. Now, lucky enough, I didn't crack my head or anything off the ground. I was there with my team, and I was doing the hop off to get the last 0.2 of a pound off. And I kind of had fainted. I was like, fuck's sake. So, the performance is a bit lackluster. Now the scorecards were way off. I thought I won quite easy, but the scorecards was majority decision. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that I could make it on paper. Everything physiology, however you say that word, physiology or whatever it is.
Physiologically.
Physically, I could. Yes, that's the word. I could make it, but on paper, and I could make it, but it's about performing at that weight. And that fight kind of showed me that, it's going to be quite tough. You know what I mean?
So what's interesting for me is, at the time when you were making that weight, and then subsequently, even for the TJ fight and stuff, you were still talking very much about making super bantamweight, about fighting for a world title there with a lot of confidence. And I know that sometimes you might think something in your head, but you're going to speak in a different way. Is that difficult to do though? And does that become taxing on your head? Because at somewhere in your head, you must have known, okay, I could take the chance to fight for a super bantamweight world title, but I know I'm not at my physical best there. But I'm I'm telling people that I am going to go there. Is that kind of difficult to do?
No, well, even then, I was, because I know in the Beluda fight, I was like, fuck, I was hard. And I made weight so well, but it was the last 0.2 of a pound. 0.2 of a pound is nothing.
Because you told me, I remember you telling me that you made weight so easy, because I asked you about the weight and you're like, no, I made weight so easy for this. I was like, well, okay, fair enough.
It was the best I'd ever kind of made weight until that last bit. Because I only had to lose, I think on the, that kind of sweater, it was 7 pounds or something, which is nothing. I've lost way more. And I lost 6 pounds, I think, in the session. I was like, fucking brilliant. I just gotta do the rest in the bath. It's a pound. It's nothing. I could do that I'm asleep. Nope. It was fucking hell. And it was only that so that's why I was still confident in terms of doing it and stuff. And then, everything kind of happens for a reason. And the suggestion from the WBA, would I fight for their interim title of featherweight? And when that came up, it was just I'm not lying, it was a fucking relief off my shoulders. What the fuck, fucking right, fuck it then, I'll just do that. So, and then that was for the TJ fight, and then everything was kind of agreed. And then I was told, you got to make 124. I was like, what? I was just 126. And then the week of the fight, I had, because I obviously, once was told, I was 2 weeks before the fight, I started to eat a wee bit more. I was like, fucking right, sweet. I can fucking eat a bit and I'll make the weight easy still. Obviously, I probably had a wee bit too much. And then I had to make 124. And I think I weighed on 124 fucking 3.
Yeah.
And TJ was shouting, your boy's in trouble, thinking I was going to go and make weight. And I was, fuck that, it's 126 fucking title. And that the sanctioned body is not going to fucking do me in here, because that's a 126 title. So I just had my water. Didn't give a fuck, mate.
Was there an agreement in place, though, that you then had to compensate TJ slightly for, because the agreement was 124, was it? Or how does that work? So the governing body wasn't going to sanction you for it, but perhaps there was an agreement with TJ's team that it was 124. So how does that work?
I don't know. I don't know if he was. I didn't have to pay him any money, so no.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not. It's out of my hands. That one I don't really care.
So, the fight, interestingly, is in the Odyssey rather than in Falls Park.
Yep.
Can you talk to us about
100%
why that decision was made? Or
Inflation, mate. Inflation to do the park now is just with inflation, the cost of materials and getting seating and everything has went through the roof. So and then at the same time we couldn't get enough seats to kind of even break even. So it just wasn't financially doable this year.
Okay.
Because of that, the last one, was fantastic. And we were looking to do more seats than last time. But, how things fell, it just wasn't doable. So we had to go to the Odyssey. Now, I love the park and it's been unbelievable. And I'm so grateful to have fought there twice. And I hope to be back there one day. But, I've been in the Odyssey. I fought in the Odyssey once and it was my 7th fight. And we only had like half of the arena. It wasn't a full arena because it was only my 7th fight. I wasn't expecting to sell the whole thing. But now we're doing the whole thing and I'm excited because I know the atmospheres I can bring. You think of the park and then you put a roof on that and you're going, what the fuck is this atmosphere going to be like? It's going to be special. It's going to be unbelievable.
I think it's going to be very raucous, yeah. Odyssey, you'll get about 9,000, give or take, in there?
Nine, just over 9. I think it's like 9,400, 9,500.
Yeah. It's a large, very large crowd. It's good.
Big time. It'll be special.
Yeah, I think so. So again, we'll just move on slightly from that one. I'm sorry, Mick, if I'm taking too much time. I've a few, you're an interesting man. I have a few questions for you, But there's a lot of talk now about Katie Taylor in Croke Park, and it looks like it might come off. I know that there's difficulties around Croker and there's difficulties with the American TV and stuff like that and the zone, etc. But it looks like they might really push for it and get it off. Is it something you'd be interested in jumping on?
100%. I would love to, but it's promoters, isn't it? It's different promoters. So it in my opinion, it doesn't seem likely at all. Plus, it looks like it's going to happen September time if it does happen. I'm just fighting August. Would I be bothered going back into camp to fight again? Nah, I'd rather fight December. So if the league fight can be done in the winter, I'd rather wait to that. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be in my plans. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, I was reading yesterday, it doesn't look like it's going to be the Serrano rematch next.
Yeah, apparently Serrano wants to take a fight on one of Jake Paul's undercards before August. I think it's before anyway. I read the same thing, I think, but can't remember exactly the date. But yeah, it clashes.
So who does she fight in Croke Park?
I think there might be talks of Holly Holm in a kind of a spectacle matchup. I mean, I actually don't think that's a bad one because Holly Holm is a multiple-time boxing world champion. Yeah. Obviously, a very credible name.
Yeah.
So like it could be a good one. But do you think it matters who she fights?
It's Katie, isn't it? Doesn't really. Though it will take away a little bit, I think, but not much. What's Croker going to hold with the pitch and everything included?
I think if they max it out, they could get to like 90-something thousand. And I think she feels it.
In Ireland, Katie Dillashaw. She's as she's shown in America, she can tell. So, but in Ireland, she has so many people's role model, and so many people, young girls look up to her. Non-boxing people look up to her. She's a special girl, special woman, and
100%.
I would love her to get it. I would love her to happen because she deserves nothing more than that. Like, it's unbelievable. Like,
yeah, she deserves it. She does, doesn't she? She deserves it. But again, we'll move on. Let's talk a little bit about, because we don't have too much time left, but let's talk about your undercard. I would love to get your kind of promoter/manager hat on here. And if you can give us a few bits of information about who could possibly be on the undercard in the SSC, we'd love that.
Yeah, well, Conlan Boxing have, we have 3 fighters at the minute, maybe 4. But we have 2 known to everybody.
Yeah.
And most likely, once Kieran gets his fitted away, all being well, He'll be in the Odyssey. He'll be on the SSC card.
So Kieran Malloy
In
and
Belfast, Kieran Malloy, and obviously Kurt Walker, because
Kurt Walker.
Kurt would have been out in America as well next week with Kieran, but his cuts from the Fury undercard haven't healed properly, so it took a bit of time, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the crack is. But he'll be all right for August. So them two will definitely be on it. I see some more Belfast names. I seen an all Irish fight, which I would love to put on it. Which would be fantastic. I think is Ray Mollett versus Sean McComb.
Yeah,
I seen Ray calling. I think it was Tyrone McKenna out for the undercard of Katie Taylor. But I could put him in Belfast versus Sean.
Good fight.
Yeah. And obviously Tyrone McKenna is an exciting dude, so you'd probably have to try and get him on if all being well.
Definitely.
But there'll be some good fights. There'll be a lot of home guys, I think.
Someone like a Lewis Ritson or someone like that for Tyrone. It could be a very good matchup. Doable?
It's just, I don't think it's doable at the minute, but it's one I would love to do.
Yeah, shame.
One I would
good
love
fight.
to do. Yeah, I think Ritson is fighting O'Hara Davies possibly, so that's probably why that can happen.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a tidy fight in its own right. Paddy McCrory versus Tamba for the European title. Talk to me about the possibilities of that happening. And what are the details around that one? I know it's kind of up in the air, isn't it? Is there a possibility of that happening?
I think there's more problems with trying to get that his team to reply. Jimmy deals with it all. I'm just hearing little things in the back. I let him do all the stuff while I'm still fighting. I just take a back seat and let him be boss man. He can run the show. But
yeah.
It would definitely be great for Paddy. And one we would do our best to try and secure for him. Because he's done so well and he carries a lot of power, but he's done so well to get so much of his career so late on in his career, in his boxing career. It's fantastic. I really like Paddy, a real good guy, a very good fan base. Yeah. And obviously the hammer, he carries the punch. He's exciting. Yeah. So, I think a showing out from him would be good.
I think so, yeah. Underrated boxer with a massive punch. I think he could. Yeah. He's one of the guys at the moment who could really push at the top level, could really do damage. I think because technically, and with D Walsh in his corner as well, seems to be working wonders with him as well. So it'd be nice to get him in a big fight, and for the EBU title, it's such a meaningful belt as well. It'd be amazing. But Mick, I'm gonna let you go in like a couple of minutes, but I just love a word on the unbelievable amateur success that we've had lately.
Class.
Absolutely outstanding. Like we're ruling the roost at the moment, it seems, in the amateur game. Especially we have to shout out the women are doing unbelievable. We just had 2 world champions, Amy Broadhurst and Lisa O'Rourke, and of course Gabriel Dawson just won the European Championships. Dylan Eagleson got silver, and many more under 18s. Bobby Flood under 18 champion at 17 years old. Just a quick word on the success from the amateurs.
It's been fantastic. I always kind of try to keep my eyes on it and see what's happening. And, the girls have been outshining the boys for the last way, but it looks like the boys are stepping up to the plate again, and it's good to see. Amy Broadhurst was fantastic. I've shared it from the rooftops about how good Amy is for a long time, and finally go and see her achieve, what she achieved in the World Championships was brilliant. And then Gabriel as well. Like I've been saying about him for years. And Dylan Eagleson, I seen him when he was a kid, and I was like, wow, I called it from back then. So call me Mystic Mick. I predict these things.
Oh God. Brilliant. Brilliant. Look, you must have a good eye for it, Mick, because they have shown through now, and I seen Dylan fight a couple of months ago, and I was very impressed as well. And seeing Amy.
Yeah, I was told with Dylan, I didn't know who he was, and I knew he looked like a Sutcliffe. And was that Phil Sutcliffe's son? I was like, really? And he was like in the Orange, or I think it could have been the Anthems or something even. in Belfast because he lives up the north.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, is it Eagles? And I didn't know he was okay. I watched him and I seen him fight, and I was like, that kid's class. He's going to be really good. And then now, 17, going there, picking up a silver medal in his first senior international tournament. It's unbelievable, mate. That's a serious achievement. Like, it's
ridiculous.
No, I think he has a big future ahead of him. Just needs to keep the feet in the ground and keep focused.
100%. 100%. Look, Mick, I'm going to leave it there because I've had you for quite a long time. I really appreciate the time, though. Best of luck going forward in the rest of your camp. We really look forward to. We'll be there on August 6th in the Odyssey Arena. Can't wait. And look, as I say, all the best in camp, and hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
Good man. Cheers, mate. Take care.
Thanks a lot, mate. Talk to you again.
Right, Sam. See you later, mate.
Sam, Mick.